Baseball is back, and there really is nothing like a home team advantage. That's why Team Toyota makes an obvious choice for your next vehicle purchase or service. With their MVP pricing guarantee, teammates reward program, and streamlined customer experience, their award-winning sales and service departments are there for all of your vehicle needs. A home team advantage is nothing without family and community. Their employees are part of the family, they're part of your town, and we're all part of the team. Visit teamtoyota.net and choose one of their 3 locations in Langhorne, Glen Mills, or Princeton.
You are listening, watching the Phillies Talk Podcast presented by Team Toyota. I'm Spencer McKercher, joined by Sean Kane, the producer of Pre- and Post Game Live, and the one and only Ben Davis, baby. How we doing, Benny?
Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better.
I'm in such fine company. I mean, this is a great day.
That's exactly right. Hey, well, we're going to recap that Mariners series here and kind of look ahead to the Dodgers series, a big, important series for the Phils as they head to LA and kind of continue this West Coast trip. Do you guys want to start with the negatives or do you want to start with the positives?
We're a positive operation. That's here
exactly right.
On the pre-post, as I always say. You know, Michael and Ricky kind of set the tone for the positivity on a day-to-day basis. But I'll jump in first. I thought yesterday obviously was a huge spot for them. They couldn't get swept again, needed to end that losing streak. And I honestly thought it was a case of their best players stepping up and not letting that happen. Zach Wheeler was awesome. Dominant, came out after he figured he would be after the way he pitched against the Yankees, and he came out and took care of a lineup that on paper he should take care of, but a lineup that had been hot the first couple of games of the series. And offensively, Schwarber I thought set the tone, and then Harper, maybe most importantly, looks like he's getting out of that slump. He had that nice at bat on Saturday, and then Sunday, the 3 hits, including the big home run to kind of separate them a little bit in the 8th inning. So I thought the big dog stepped up and got them a win that I really thought they needed to have, and hopefully they can carry a little bit of that into this Dodger series.
For sure. Benny?
Yeah, it's always nice when you have Zach Wheeler to be your stopper, and they needed those 8 innings out of him yesterday in that closing game in Seattle, and that's what they got. He was dominant, just 2 hits over those 8 innings, 9 strikeouts. It was just fun to watch, and Sean's right. The big guys really stepped up, and if you think about it, 3 pitches into that game, the game was over. With the home run by Kyle Schwarber, that was the game winner. But you do like to see it. You also like to see JT Realmuto get a knock and an RBI yesterday. You also like to see Bryson Stott with a big home run. I know we talk about the big guns all the time, but nice to see that lineup get a little more length to it with the bottom of the lineup doing some damage.
For sure. And it's crazy. I saw a stat today that the Phillies are 28-1 this season when their starting pitcher goes 7+ innings. Mm-hmm. So, and the one loss came April 9th, Wheeler against the Cardinals, 3-0 loss to the Cardinals. The offense just didn't get anything going, and that was kind of that early season slump there. But it was great to see. And just a good old-fashioned pitching duel on Sunday with Gilbert and Wheels. I'm glad the Phillies came out on the positive side of it. We talked about it there. You know, I think home runs and stuff like that are always great, but even just making great contact with the ball. Do you think this opens up before we get to LA here and a very important series with 3 very good pitchers for the Dodgers that the Phillies are set to face off against?
Yeah, they got Glass now tonight. They got I think he's a rookie tomorrow night. Clayton Kershaw is his name.
Guy. Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, some
and
guy.
They have Gavin Stone on Wednesday. So it's not going to be easy for him. They will strike out tonight against Glasnow. This guy can punch some tickets. He's got electric stuff. It's weird to look at his ERA being at 3.50, but you just don't expect that out of him. But he will get some strikeouts. But the Phillies just got to make sure they get him down in the zone and make sure they get the breaking ball up tonight first and foremost. That's all they can really worry about. I know it sounds cliche, but just worry about the first game. That's one thing that the Phillies have struggled in recent series is they haven't won the first game. They're always trying to play catch up to get back and win the series, which they haven't done a whole lot of recently. But go out and take care of business tonight. I think yesterday we hopefully can springboard them into being better offensively. And, we'll see what Aaron Nola does tonight on the mound as well.
Yeah, I think they need Nola tonight to come out and kind of set the tone for them. As you mentioned, they're facing some good pitching, and a lot of things to me, this Dodgers series kind of strikes me as a tough spot for them, given that they swept the Dodgers less than a month ago. Obviously, the Dodgers have that in their minds. Freddie Freeman's going to be back in the Dodgers lineup tonight, Monday night. He's been away dealing with some personal matters with his family. Shohei was really quiet against the Phillies in Philadelphia, so you don't expect that to happen again. And the Phillies, by having this rough stretch, have kind of brought the Dodgers back into the race, for potential home field throughout the NL postseason. Now, obviously, anything happens in the postseason, and top seeds tend not to advance. But if everything were to hold to form, that would obviously be important come the NLCS. So a lot of factors. I think the Dodgers are going to be up for this series. The Phillies, again, got a nice win yesterday, but to me, it's going to be a tough for them. A series win here for the Phillies would be outstanding. And I think tonight is a big one to get this one tonight behind Aaron Nola.
For sure. And it's crazy. I mean, we were kind of talking about it yesterday after post game. Their last 4 wins, right? They're 5-13 since the All-Star break. Their last 4 wins, though, have been shutouts. They've shut out the other team. They haven't won a game where the other team hasn't scored more than a run since the A's game on that Saturday before the All-Star break. So the pitching's been there, and as Rod Thompson and everyone's been saying, JT Realmuto kind of emphasized it on Saturday as well. Hey, when the pitching is pitching well, the hitters aren't hitting well. When the hitting's going well, the pitching hasn't been great. Speaking of the pitching not being great, we'll go to a little negative here. Friday, Saturday, rough. Obviously, Tyler Phillips struggled, and he's set to start on Wednesday in that series finale in LA. And then, just the bullpen kind of falling apart on Saturday. Just wasn't great. What were your initial thoughts, Ben, just from we'll go a little negative here, just in terms of the Friday night beatdown, and then Saturday you blow a 5-0 lead?
Well, obviously. Yeah, Tyler Phillips, he got hit around pretty good the other night in Seattle. It's almost like they knew what was coming, which makes you think, was he tipping his pitches? Who knows? But I just think they knew he was going to be in the zone, and they attacked early and often. The one concern that I had was with the bullpen is just throwing strikes. These guys are falling behind. Their stuff is way too good to fall behind certain hitters. The walks and the hit batsmen and just lack of command is something they've had that pretty much the entire season. But unfortunately, the last couple of games, not last couple of series, I should say, it's kind of eluded them. And you just can't walk guys when you come out of the bullpen. You can't hit guys, obviously. But, you look at someone like Jeff Hoffman the other night on Saturday night. He comes in with a 5-1 lead, and then they score 4 runs in the 6th inning. I don't know if he was really ready to pitch. Physically, yes, he was ready to pitch, but mentally, I don't know if he was there. He hasn't been in that type of situation in a long time. He's a back end of the bullpen guy. He's a high leverage guy. And for him to be thrown into that situation, I don't know if he was mentally, I'm not trying to make excuses for him, but I don't know if he was really mentally ready for that 6th inning and for that slot. And it showed with his performance. And, everything was up in the middle of the plate, and the Mariners took advantage. Again, not trying to make excuses, but people have certain roles, and I don't know if he was ready for that particular role on Saturday night. Yeah,
that struck me as early too for him. Obviously on Saturday, and you're right, like he just didn't have command, and you figure of all people to cost you that game. Jeff Hoffman's been so solid. I think he gave up like 3 combined runs in his previous
41.
41
appearances.
Months.
Yeah.
And then he gives up 4 runs on Saturday. So that was disappointing. Silver lining on Saturday is I thought Colby Allard was good. And it sounds like they're going to need him again in Arizona because, Ranger is going to take a little more time, I think, than they had initially hoped. So he was okay. Now that they may go the opener route again with Kerkering, who's been good in that role a couple of times now. But I thought Allard was good. He looked better, I thought, than he did against Cleveland. So if they need him again, which it looks like they will, I think you have a little more confidence in that. But yeah, Tyler Phillips, I was kind of waiting for him to come back to earth a little bit because he had been so good. But I didn't expect him to come back to earth in terms of not making it out of the 2nd inning. And Ben, again, I agree. It looked like the Mariners were jumping. I mean, they jumped on him the first pitch of the game with Robles, and then it just, boom, boom, boom. And
they were deep.
They weren't cheapies for sure. And it just, it seemed like they knew what was coming, whether it was the tipping or they just kind of were on to how he wanted to attack them. But yeah, hopefully Tyler Phillips, he seems like a confident guy. I don't think he's the type of guy that's going to be shook by this. I think his next start will be big, not a shutout, but not that either. Somewhere in the middle, hopefully a little more quality startish. But yeah, I'm not panicking on Tyler Phillips. I think, he had a bad outing coming, and we'll see how he bounces back. But definitely some cause for concern of just how bad it was for him on Friday night.
And we've talked about it. I mean, Sean, we've talked about it on the pod numerous times. Tyler Phillips's mindset is something that's almost new to this Phillies clubhouse. All these guys were attacking guys, but he is so just like, I'm going to go out and destroy everyone in my path. And I thought it was great, his comments after the game the other day. Just he took full. He was like, I let my team down, I let my family down, I let these fans down. And obviously he knows what that's like being a Phillies fan. He has that whole, mindset of like, hey, I let down a whole city just on Saturday, and it stunk, or on Friday, I should say, and it stunk. And I don't know, that mindset is great. And this is a huge start for him on Wednesday. If he ends up going Wednesday against Gavin Stone, against the Dodgers in LA, I feel like, as growing up as a Phillies fan, that's one of those starts where you probably dreamed about too, going, pitching for your hometown team against two of the best players in baseball in LA, no less. So hopefully all positives from Tyler Phillips going forward.
Yeah, Chavez Ravine is quite a bit of distance from Bishop Eustace, so I think he will cherish the moment and enjoy every minute when he's out there preparing and getting ready and hearing those obnoxiously loud speakers in center field. I think he'll be able to right the ship. And the Dodgers have a good ball club, and they made a couple adjustments right before the trade deadline. So they have a good ball club, and getting Freddie Freeman back is like obviously one of the best players in baseball. Getting him back is going to be huge.
Celebrity cook Steve Martirano brings his Italian-American cooking back home to Philly. Enjoy Martirano's Prime at Rivera Casino and Steve's famous meatballs with Sunday gravy, prime steaks, and more. Make reservations for Martirano's Prime on OpenTable.
Well, Ben, you mentioned it, just right before there. Hoffman coming in the sixth. Rob Thompson said all season that he wants these different guys. He's going to go with the flow in terms of the bullpen hierarchy, if that's what you want to call it. Is that something that is usual in a season? And like, if you are these guys in the bullpen, are you okay with pitching in different situations, just like we saw Hoffman? Because obviously it didn't work out the best the other night. But does that mess with your psyche at all as a bullpen guy?
I don't know if it messes with the psyche. It's just the whole different means of your preparation. And I mean, guys are very routine oriented. Lord knows I was when I played. And you fall into patterns. And I just think it caught him, for lack of better words, caught him off guard. And the fact that what he normally would do in the sixth inning, now he's in the game in the sixth inning, as opposed to what he normally would do in the sixth inning to prepare himself to pitch the eighth or the ninth inning. It's a whole different animal. So I think you have to be of the right mindset to do it. And if that's the way it's going to be, then you just have to make yourself do it. It's unless you have a complete lockdown closer like a Mariano Rivera or Trevor Hoffman or Hader, those roles can be adjusted throughout the course of a season. And I think that's what you're seeing right now with the Phillies bullpen.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to use Estevez towards the back, when he can. And I thought he was pretty good. Obviously, he should have had Haniger struck out to end that 10th inning on Saturday night, but and then lost the zone a little bit at the end there. But I agree. And hearing, what Ricky Italico has mentioned back in his day, like everybody liked to know their role. Everybody liked to know when it was time to warm up, when it was time to potentially go into game. So I think Ben is spot on but that's changed. Obviously, a lot of things have changed, but that certainly seems to have changed in this era of baseball with guys being deployed earlier. And it's actually one thing that Rob Thompson has done in the postseason a ton is, you've seen Jose Alvarado back when he was their best bullpen guy. He'd be in the game in the sixth inning if a pocket of lefties came up. So I think that's probably something that as the postseason nears and assuming they get into the postseason again, Jeff Hoffman will probably have to be used to if it's a tough pocket of righties and it's the sixth inning and he's going to take the ball. So I guess getting used to it now and getting the kinks out now before the postseason, because I think Thompson's track record has shown that he's going to put these guys in regardless of the inning where he thinks the matchups are best. Yeah,
and he's been doing that for a while. And I don't know if that's like the analytic type from Rob Thompson or if that's just the feel when you're looking at this lineup. And even with Allard getting the push back on Saturday, going with Kirkring, he just didn't want Allard to face that righty top lineup.
And that worked.
It worked perfectly.
It was great.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, thanks to our good buddy, old Ben Davis, huh? We lost him. It's okay. Where is his estate?
He's out in the Chad's Ford area,
yeah.
And his driveway is roughly a mile long.
Yeah.
Back in the woods, he's an avid outdoorsman, so he likes to live out in the elements there, which is all well and good. But he does have a landline because his cell reception is so bad, and I think that kind of contributed to Ben dropping off the pod there. But I tell you, what he gave us was gold.
It was great.
It was short but solid.
That's exactly what we get. That's exactly what we get from Ben Davis here. Yeah. Which we'll see him. You'll see him on pre and post game all this entire Dodger series, along with our good buddy Ricky Bowe. So definitely tune into pre and post game here. Hopefully it's all positive coming into this Dodgers series. So, but dude, speaking of positive, let's go Brandon Marsh, right? Has increased his batting average against left-handed pitching from 137 to 200 over the last few games. He has 4 straight hits against lefties. He's batting 300 since the Austin Hayes trade. What have you seen from Marsh? Is it this comes down to just at bats and finally seeing pitching more, and especially left-handed pitching?
Yeah, I think so. I think just getting the opportunities, and which they were reluctant to give him, and because his limited opportunities previously, he really wasn't producing. But the opportunities are coming, and I think with the Hayes trade, they want Hayes to be their left fielder more often than not. So that's just going to mean Marsh is going to play in that center field role, and Rojas isn't giving him much offensively, so he's going to get his opportunities against lefties. And to your point, he's made some serious strides recently, and you like what you see at the plate, and things are going your way when you're just shutting your eyes and sticking your glove out and the ball's falling into it. So he's on a bit of a heater right now. That catch yesterday was great, but it's good to see, and he's such a big part of their energy and their vibes. And when he's going well, when he's not going well, you can see he gets down on himself. But yeah, when he's going well, he brings that juice, he brings that excitement, and it's nice to see him swinging the bat a little better. For sure,
it's been awesome. And Matt Gelb had a great story about that catch and just the baseball gods maybe turning it around, right? And that, it was insane. You can't see the ball, and it just kind of lands in your glove, and it's the exact kind of turnaround that this Phillies team needed. It is almost the baseball gods giving back a little bit, being like, hey, this streak is over finally, and let's hope it's over. And hopefully kind of turn the vibes around here going into this huge Dodger series. We've been talking about it the entire pod. This is, it's a big series, and they're going to want revenge from the sweep before the All-Star break. So this is, what's your expectations here? Like we said, Glasnow, Kershaw, Stone, tough little thing. Freddie's back, as we mentioned. What's your expectations?
It's again, I mentioned it earlier. I think a lot of factors are kind of lining up in the Dodgers' favor. Just you mentioned the revenge factor, getting Freeman back in the lineup. Ohtani, I think, is kind of poised for a bigger series certainly than he had in Philly. I know he had a few hits in Philly, but really he's a game-changing type of hitter that really didn't have any of those big hits. And the Phillies took care of them. Like the Phillies, handled them in that series. So I think they're going to want to prove that, because the Dodgers preseason where everybody's they're the best team in the National League. So they're going to want to prove that, they can, still run the National League. And it's a big, I mentioned it, the home field advantage race is still has gotten a lot tighter than it was about 2 weeks ago. So that's something to monitor too. But yeah, I think Nola needs to come through tonight. I think Chris Sanchez,
yes.
I know he's struggled on the road a bit, but he wasn't good in his last start against the Yankees. Well, he had one bad inning. But he tomorrow, and we talked about Tyler Phillips earlier. So, the Phillies need some good starting pitching, keeping these games early. Hopefully the bats heated up Sunday in Seattle. Bryce can come through with a couple of big games here and win a few games. And a series win, I think, would be fantastic, going to Arizona, who has been playing better too.
For sure.
And he had 4 with them. So, series win. Get 2 out of 3, and that's a big win, a huge win, in my opinion.
Yeah, and get fired up going to that Arizona series. Them waiting for their ring ceremony to be Saturday. Wow. They're getting their NLCS championship rings.
That's intentional.
When the Phillies 110%. I can't believe it. When it was talked about, it was like, oh, are you sure this is happening? We triple checked, quadruple checked, and it's a real thing that they're getting their NLC championship rings in August.
Phillies did that on the first series of the year last year.
It was Easter. It was Easter Sunday. They got their rings. So yeah, it's crazy. Well, and I hope, and that they know that this whole team knows that they are the Diamondbacks waited for them to come to town, and we'll see. So hopefully all positives here going forward.
Stubbsy going to the pool when they sweep the Diamondbacks.
That'd be big.
Right.
Also get a little revenge. Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
How great would that be? With Dancing on My Own, bringing that back. Shout out to T-Mac and Rube for talking about it on the broadcast as well. So that was, hey, I don't know. Maybe it's over. We'll see. But hopefully the vibes have changed going to LA. Huge series. Looking forward to it. And hopefully the boys can get it back. And I know Nick Castellanos is the most bet player to hit a home run tonight because of whatever disaster happened in the world today with the stock market, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay. I was waiting to see what
stock market. I'm not a big stock market guy, but I know
I'm a huge stock market guy. Yeah, I'm all over it. But yes, okay, I didn't know that.
So we'll see. We'll see if Cassie can come through.
How about that bat he had on Sunday in Seattle? 15 pitches.
Crazy.
Smoked the ground at a third. So
was that the most? That was the most
this year.
Yeah,
not just for the Phillies, but in baseball.
Crazy.
Yeah, it was a great at bat. Against a very good pitcher, obviously, in Gilbert too. So maybe that locks him in a little bit and get Casty going tonight.
The Phillies setting all those records, the most pitches in a bat this season, and then the longest game of the year on Wednesday against the Yankees. So let's hope for nice quick games, quick wins for the Phils as they head to LA here. That's Sean Kane for Ben Davis, who will work on his internet connection down the road. I'm Spencer McKercher. We'll see you guys as they get ready to go to Arizona and hopefully off a series win against the Dodgers.